This is a 2012 Kawasaki KX250, and this is how it looked just 1 week ago. This is the locked up motor that was in it. These are some of the parts we pulled off of it. This is two-stroke forever. Welcome to today's video where we're tearing down this Kawasaki KX250 and getting it down to the frame, getting the engine out, and all that. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and yeah, let's get into it. So like any good build, obviously I had to start out by taking off the plastics. They're the most accessible parts and the easiest to take off. So it's naturally just a good first step. It also makes it super easy to access everything else that we're going to be working on later. So I went ahead and got right into it. Now, even though most of the hardware was only hand tight, of course there still had to be a few stuck bolts. But with a little bit of patience, it's not too much of a problem to take care of things like that. Next up is this seat. Now, we do have a new seat cover coming for it from Decal Works. I want to take a second to give them a shout out because they've been a huge help to me, and I hope they could be a huge help to you guys too if you ride. They have wraps, seat covers, and so much more on their website. So head on over and check it out. There will be a link in the description if that's something that you think you might be interested in. Now, let's get back into it. These bolts for the subframe were pretty tight, but if you have tight bolts, especially with aluminum, it never hurts to heat them up with a torch or a heat gun, and they'll usually pop right off. I went ahead and got the subframe removed because we need to take that off in order to access the air box, which we're going to need to get off to access the throttle body, which will be in the way for removing the engine later on. It was getting dark out, so it was time to move into the shed. I gave it a quick pressure washing, and this is how it was looking. Not too bad, although it's not perfect, I really can't be complaining. Now that I had it in the shed, it was time to start on the front end disassembly. So I went ahead and got straight to it. Interestingly, the further I was getting into this bike, the more parts I was noticing, like that bolt, where they're either stripped or just beat up. But it is what it is, and when you get a good deal, you really can't complain. And so far, things were actually going really smoothly. I went ahead and removed this front fender without any issues. Now, along with beat up parts, I was also noticing quite a few aftermarket parts. The guy who I bought it from told me that his cousin, I believe, raced it or something and had apparently done a bunch of work to it and put a whole lot of time into it. So it was really just interesting. The further I got into it, the more aftermarket accessories and parts I was seeing. Although I wasn't really seeing any performance upgrade parts, there were some cool looking parts. I went ahead and removed the front axle and then the front wheel along with the front shock guards. Next up was loosening up these triple clamps so I could get these front shocks out of the way. From how tight they were, I'm kind of thinking somebody either used an impact to put them in or one huge ratchet. Either way, with a little bit of time and patience, again, I was able to get them loosened up and get the front shocks out and out of the way. Quick shout out to my little shop hand. I wanted to focus on removing parts from the right hand side of the bike because this is the side I plan to remove the engine from. And the first thing to go is this radiator. Now, the guy I bought it from also told me he drained all the coolant, but I mean, again, you get what you get on Marketplace and you really can't complain when it's a good deal, but it was kind of a mess to clean up. Something else I noticed is this bolt right here for the Kickstarter was just broken off. So there was actually nothing holding that Kickstarter on. So we're going to have to drill it out later, which is kind of going to suck, but it is what it is. I went ahead and removed this Acer Bis skid plate, which is kind of a nice little piece, and it came off without any issues. I went ahead and removed the chain, and then I went ahead and started on loosening up these engine mounts so I could get the engine out of the frame. Now, it did take a little while as they were also very tight, so I'm going to stop talking, and here's how it went. unfortunately, I did not get the actual removal of the engine on video, but at that point it was getting late and it really did not seem worth it to put the engine back in the bike and re-record it or do something like that. So it is what it is. Overall though, the engine actually looked really good. There weren't any strip bolts or loose bolts or anything like that that would immediately raise concern. Now, ideally, I would have disassembled the frame a little bit further, taken the swing arm and the rear wheel off, but rain was on the way and I wanted to get this thing pressure washed and get all that grease and dirt buildup off of the frame so I could get it back inside and start on polishing this frame, which you should be able to see in a video next Saturday. So before we can wrap this video up, I do have to give a few shout outs. So first and foremost is definitely to the company Decal Works. Head on over to their website if you're looking for a wrap for your dirt bike, or if you're looking for a seat cover or a shop rug. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, head on over and check their website out. There will be a link in the description. 2, I gotta give a shout out to Kawasaki for making bikes that blow up. So I have projects to work on. So huge shout out to them. And I'm saying this because for some reason they won't sponsor me. And shout out number 3 is to you guys. If you've made it this far, I appreciate it so much. Make sure you share this video with someone, leave it a like, and subscribe if this is content that you enjoy. Feel free to leave a comment on your favorite part of the video or something that I can improve on, because I'm still learning, I'm new to all this, and I would love to hear from you guys. Now, it really wouldn't be fair to end this video without giving you guys a preview on what you're gonna see next on this channel. We've got this Yamaha quad right here that we're going to be working on. It needs a starter and some other things. We got this 80s Honda ATC that we're going to be working on. It also needs a few things. We got this TTR 90, which doesn't need anything, but we're going to get some new plastics and a new tank and some other new parts for it put on. So there should be a video on that on Tuesday. I also got the YZ125 impounded, so if you want to hear about that, make sure to stick around. Thank you again for watching, and happy Valentine's Day.